The reason why I hunt is that to me it's one of the most natural things that we can do as a human being. I like being a part of nature, and that includes eating animals, and that is a huge reason for why I hunt.
So this project started as just a suggestion. We thought that it would be amazing to go and film in a different location, in a different country, with different people. And our conversation with Vorn and a few other people who got brought on board for this was, why don't we go and film in Norway? It's the most amazing country, it's got the most amazing scenery, it's got a fantastic culture of hunting and some great stories behind why things are the way they are there. With Norway set as the destination, we tried to decide, what is this story going to be about? And it was kind of two aspects. We wanted to make a film, a short film that could really speak to people outside of our world of hunting, to help them understand why we like to do what we do. But also make a film about how having hunting in common was all that was really needed to bring a whole host of people together in one place at one time, all in pursuit of the same thing, and how that sort of common bond of hunting brings people together around the world. The project began like that, and with a lot of planning over a relatively short space of time, we soon found ourselves packing all of our camera gear in our car, ready to drive from Scotland all the way to Norway. And with the exception of the ferry journey, which was overnight, it would all be done in the space of one day, getting to the first location just north of Oslo. And we didn't really have any sort of written plan of how the story was going to unfold. It was just a case of, we knew that we were meeting a whole bunch of people in a location, and we were just going to see what happened.
Me and Byron were in the office and we looked at all our kit and we said, how on earth are we going to get this over to Norway? So we made the decision that we would drive, which was a good decision, but also a terrible decision at the same time, just sheer amount of miles we had to cover in a very short space of time. Luckily we managed to get the ferry from Newcastle to Amsterdam, which cut out a bit of the journey. And then from our journey up all the way through Germany and Sweden and then Norway. We were very lucky at about 1 in the morning when we were driving through Sweden. Marcus met us in a lay-by, and he was kind enough to give us tea, coffee and some supplies to make it to the Norwegian border. At every border crossing, the guards laughed at us when we told them where our end destination was. And it was crazy driving that distance, but we made it in the end.
So that's it. Leaving the UK behind, off to Holland, and then Germany, and then Denmark, and then Sweden, and then finally Norway for our trip.
We'll be in Norway late tomorrow night.
We will. We're going to meet up with some guys who we haven't actually met yet, but we've been making plans with them for the last 2 months. It's going to be fantastic. Hey everyone.
Hello.
That's just arrived in Denmark. We've passed through Holland, made it through the super fast Germany with a million roadworks.
Yep.
Holland wasn't much fun driving.
No.
Everyone drives like idiots there.
They're very aggressive. They're very angry.
Aggressive, right?
They're angry people there.
But Denmark so far has been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
The sun is just going down. We are running probably about 3 hours behind because of all the roadworks that we had on the way. So that wasn't very cool.
Germany was horrendous for roadworks.
Yeah, it really was. So we're going to get to our destination in Norway probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. We've had a message from somebody on Instagram.
Sweden, an Instagram,
sorry, yeah,
an
Sweden.
Instagram follower in Sweden, and he's going to meet us on the way to give us some tea and coffee
At 12 o'clock
at 12 o'clock
when
tonight.
we're passing.
which is pretty cool.
Really good. We're posting stuff continually while we are on this trip. We will probably post a couple more things tonight, and then the next time you see us tomorrow, we're going to be well into Norway, seeing some really cool stuff tomorrow.
Yep.
It's going to be a pretty long day because I don't think we're going to get a lot of sleep tonight before we got to head off to Norway tomorrow morning.
No.
So we're going to say cheerio just now. Back on the road. Next stop, Sweden. So we were lucky enough that when we were traveling up through Norway, unlike the other part of our journey, which had been get from A to B as quick as possible, we had a little bit of time, which meant that we had the chance to visit some great landmarks in Norway on the way. One of them was this mystical location, as is common in Norwegian culture, where there was this great canyon, this chasm in the rock, which had in reality been created by the movement of water over time. But the way that the Norwegians tell it, there was this great story about a troll that threw a rock because he was upset about another troll that was encroaching on his ground. It's just the most, exactly what you expect from Norwegian myth and legend. Norway is a country that's got so many cool stories, and this has to be one of the best I've heard on this trip so far. So this used to be a massive lake, which you can see is now completely empty. Legend has it that it was created by two trolls. One in this valley, one in the valley over there, and basically the troll here was jealous of the big river running that way. So he tried to cut a hole in the mountainside, and as he hit it 3 times, and as he went to hit a strike for the 4th time, the troll on this side woke up, could see what was going on. He wasn't very happy, so he didn't have time to run over and fight him, so he just threw his axe over and hit him on the head and killed him. So that's how this was created, by the blow of an axe. And somewhere over there, we didn't see it when we were driving through, there's a mountainside that looks like a troll lying with his hand on his chest, and you can see the profile of his face. I'm sure there's probably another reason, but I'm going to go with the troll. I like that as a story.
For many years ago, they discovered the water came up to surface here, and they become thinking this is holy water. So, but very many years it was not talking about. But some years ago, maybe 10-15 years ago, some guys rediscovered it and built it up, and our bishop came and gave it a new holy baptized. So Norway is very popular. People come from all over and to get silence, to listen to the river, to see animals that come here and relaxing with fire. Very popular.
If you drink a lot of it, you get younger and younger. I am
Every day.
actually 125 years.
I have 700. So, and the funny thing is that youth people, children, heard about it, and now they also want to come here. We believe today's real world is to go back to basic, to feel the nature and feel the upcoming from the ground. That's very nice to listen to youth people.
Just very quickly, this is the fountain of youth. I've been drinking it non-stop. Apparently every sip is 20 years. I've had quite a few, so that would make me about five years old from my first sip. What's really cool about this is it was blessed by the first female bishop of Norway. Fun fact of the day.
Today we are going to scout for musk ox, who is living out there in Dovrefjells, Dovre Mountains, maybe you say in English.
Probably one of my highlights on the journey there was the opportunity to go and spend some time with what has to be one of my favorite animals on this planet, the muskox. There's only a few places in the world you can go and see them, and this is the only place you can see them in Norway, inside one of their national parks. We joined a photographic tour that was being run by a chap by the name of Rogi, who was good enough to let us come along and sample what is the most incredible spectacle.
It's been such an incredible experience to do what we've done today, but there's a really great story here about why the muskox are in this part of Norway. Can you just tell me about that?
Yeah, actually, when they built the railway in the early 20s, they have make a tunnel for a couple hundred meters, 1 kilometer behind us, and then they find bones from the muskox 10,000 years ago. So they start thinking, oh, wow, maybe we should bring them back, because in the early 90s, 19th century, there was a lack of food. So they pick up, I think, around 40 animals from the Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
But the first they took to Norway was on the coastline. And they died after, I think, 1 year, because on the coastline is warmth, and the muskox are Arctic animals. And then they start, okay, we take them up to Dovre, the mountain Dovre, in the middle of Norway. And that was a success. But after during the Second World War, the German comes and shoot more than people, so they shoot all the muskox away. So between 1947 to 1952, they took along 50 new animals, and that's the base of the animals today.
From the 1950s?
Yeah, and now we have approximately 250 adults and around 50 calves every year. So it's an exotic animals that have been here for 1,000 a year, but unfortunately they are blacklisted, so they shouldn't be here, but they are allowed because they are in no harm for anyone.
What, as an animal, how does it react to people?
Now you're following me for 1 day. Normally, when tourists are on muskox safaris, they have a safe distance on 200 meters.
Mm-hmm.
That means because a muskox can run up to 60
kilometers now.
Per hour, so that's more than me. And tourists with binoculars, they are happy with 200 meters. Today we have close maybe to 20-25 meters without any problem, because we are using time.
Mm-hmm.
I have to see, I always walk first and see, because one herb could be yesterday calm and nice, today aggressive, because we have one male outside the herb that wants to take all cows from the old male.
Yeah.
That means this bull stress the animals. But as long as I can see where the main bull are and the new one, and we don't go between them, of course, but use time, we can go quite close. But there are people up here that have been killed.
By muskox?
Yeah. Happens the first, I think, science guy for 20 years ago. And unfortunately, 10 years ago, there was an old farmer in an old valley. He had a muskox between his cows. And he tried to get it out. He didn't, and he gave up, go home again. And the muskox hit him from behind to the fence.
Wow.
So that's maximum bad luck, but normally they are not harmed.
And what is the threat? Is there any threats to muskox, and why don't you have them in more of Norway?
Because the government have told the muskox, not really, but
this is because we're in a national park.
In a national park. So if they cross the main road on the east and the coastline on the west side, they take them out. Unfortunately, they kill them, shoot them. And as we walk into the mountains, we have to cross the railway.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the train take maybe between 10 and 15 every year.
That's a lot.
Because during winter, here we can have 2 meters of snow. And along the railways,
easy walking.
Yeah, easy walking, and maybe some grass. And the muskox can weigh up to 350, 500 k, and the train maybe 4,000 k. So
they lose.
Yeah. And actually, when you in this time of year, in September, October, they are in mating season, and the bull fight a lot. As we've seen today, it's an old big one.
You can see them standing,
Yeah, a small one. But if the bull are on the same size, because normally the male show the size, that should scare away the young ones. But if they are in similar size, they start to fight.
Hmm.
And that fighting is the highest amount of power in the animal world.
There's the contact
Yeah,
between the two of them.
And I walk by myself after the hunting season, and I hear a gunshot. It's like coming over a hill.
Two muskox.
Yeah, and the fight. And actually back home for my fireplace, I have a dead one, and the skulls are broken. They find it dead on the mountains.
Really?
Yeah.
From fighting?
Yeah.
It actually cracked its skull
right,
open.
the whole skull. So talking about headache,
Wow.
that's a big one.
That's incredible. It's such a prehistoric looking animal. It almost looks like it belongs from a time long ago.
I've been up for almost 15 years. I haven't seen them. I use 4 to 5, 6 weeks every year. I have the photo workshop, but also work by myself with the Arctic fox and the muskoxes. And every time I see them, I'm stunning. I have my goosebumps. I was like, yeah. I think I have maybe 10,000 pictures of the muskox.
10,000.
Well, at least maybe 50,000. I don't know. I don't count them. But yesterday I have a perfect shot. This morning I have another shot. So every time the light, the activity, the color in the sky.
The colour of this terrain is awesome.
Yeah. So I never get bored.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for letting us come along today. No, it's been absolutely brilliant. I've wanted to see muskox in the flesh for maybe the last 10 years. And I didn't think I'd get to see it so soon, so it's been amazing for me.
Yeah. And you're also happy with the weather because this morning it was raining and fog.
I thought it was game over.
Yeah, me too, but no, not actually.
You knew that it was going to clear up?
Normally they do.
Yeah.
In the late evening or during the day.
No, it's brilliant, but thank you.
Thank you.
I've waited a very long time to be able to see a real live muskox. It's everything I thought it was going to be and a million times more.
We were really, really lucky to go and film the muskox. I actually spent most of my time just filming. Vorn was watching and filming at the same time, but primarily I was doing all the filming, and it was just absolutely spectacular. You kind of got engrossed in, especially for me, the filming. You got engrossed in trying to get as close as you could to them and just watch everything they're doing to make sure you're capturing every little thing, and the hours just passed and you don't know where they went, and they really are from another time, those animals. They're absolutely amazing, amazing animals.
That was our last stop before our final destination in about 3 hours time. We have travelled now just over 1,500 miles since Thursday morning, including the ferry journey. Both Daryl and I are feeling pretty knackered. We had about an hour sleep on our first night arriving in Norway and about 4.5 hours sleep last night. So running on fumes, we're going to try and catch up tonight. Norway is proving to be exactly what I hoped it would be and a lot more, and to be able to go and see muskox this afternoon was just brilliant. Wanted to do it for such a long time and see them. Absolutely ancient animal. Looks like it doesn't even belong in this time. And yeah, it was something pretty special just to be able to spend some time with them. I'm looking forward to heading to the west coast now. The mountains just keep getting higher. The terrain has changed a huge amount from where we left in the light from just north of Oslo. It just gets more extreme the more that we travel. It's exciting. Lads, how was the drive?
It was alright. A bit tiring.
How many hours have you been going today?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
About
When did we start?
17 hours?
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Driving at night on the wrong side of the road. You've got to think a little bit more. So. Nah, it's been okay.
Terrifying. I feel like I don't have control.
Well, terrifying with him driving.
No, but I need a steering wheel on this side. Sitting on this side and not having a steering wheel.
You're gonna try and catch some kip on the ferry.
Yeah. Sleep time.
So we were there primarily to make a film, and especially make the short film that we would be submitting to film festivals about why we as people hunt, as human beings, why we have this inbuilt need to hunt even if we maybe don't realize it. But one of the bonuses about being on the west coast of Norway is that there's a lot of water everywhere, and that water is full of really great fishing. And we had a chance on one of the days when we first arrived on location to take a boat out and do some fishing. And it was brilliant. A number of us caught a number of really great fish. Some people didn't feel so well, but for those who could stomach the seas, we had a tremendous time. And that evening we even had a chance to eat what we had caught, which of course is what it's all about. Understanding where your food has come from, straight from the bottom of the sea to your plate that night. I am rather fond of fishing, and so is Daryl, and he managed to catch probably one of the best fish of the day as well. So yeah, that was fantastic as well.
We went fishing the day after, and I have to say there was a few people that definitely found out if they had legs for sea. There was some people that turned actually green, and I'd spent many years on the ocean and I'd never seen someone actually physically turn green before. It is possible. The fish we were catching, there was a lot of fish there, and they're all very good sizes. And I will say that I did catch the biggest fish of the day, so that made my day. But it was a great experience being able to fish in Norway. They definitely have a lot more than we do in the UK, and it's something I'd like to spend more time doing. The young boat hand, he was filleting fish and de-hooking fish left, right, and centre, and he definitely had a lot more skill than I had, and I must have been at least 10-15 years older than him, and he did show me a few things about filleting. This is hard. You've got a different fish, yeah? There you go.
everyone who was there had come a long way to be there. Further away in Norway, there were people there from the States, us from the UK. So we had to make sure that all of our gear was ready. We checked all of our camera gear. We obviously had rifles with us as well. Everybody else, or a lot of other people, had rifles with them. So the first day when we got there after unloading, it was a case of checking kit, checking rifles most importantly, making sure they were still shooting where they should shoot. Everybody had recently been given the KKC stocks that we were using throughout the hunt and for the weeks before and weeks after, along with the optics that had been given to us by Swarovski. So there was a lot of people using a new kit which they needed to make sure was ready, and of course it all performed as you would expect it to perform. No one had any issues at all. It was completely flawless, but they needed to make sure that their rifles were right. So we did that on the first night that we got there, and I think for the most part everybody was pretty happy with how their kit was performing, which put them in a good place for the hunting that we started the morning after.
Okay, good morning, people. I tried to take it in English because we have visitors. Today's hunt is not walk and stalk as normal because of the fog. So today we organize like a driven hunt. 4 people are sitting in this direction, and we have 3 hunters that will push. So the fog makes it a bit difficult, but I think it could be a nice way to hunt this morning. BERIT, you will be together with Thomas, Maya, and Mike and Lisa, and me and Arne and Jørgen. We will walk up that hillside and push in this direction. And we also think about the wind. So the posters they have the wind in the right direction. Some questions? No? Thomas, you take the hunters with the boat, and we wait here for your signal, and then we'll start climbing the mountain and start pushing. Is it okay?
Good plan.
Yeah, good plan. Then you go with the boat, and we just relax and wait for the signal. Yeah. Good hunt, people. I wish the best.
Although the type of hunting that we really like to do is getting out there, 1 or 2 people, pretty much by ourselves, up in the mountains, spotting animals, making a plan, stalking into it. The first morning that we had an opportunity to hunt, the weather just simply didn't lend itself to that at all. There was a lot of mist down, the weather looked pretty poor, to be honest. The last place you wanted to be was right out on top of the mountaintops. So we decided to hunt as a group that morning. As you could see from the place that we were in, the face all the way down to the sea loch was pretty dense, and most of the open spaces were right out on top. So to hunt those lower regions, there was only one way to really do it with any kind of efficiency at all, and we did want to get some deer because we wanted some meat to eat for the camp. And that was to line people out in strategic places and then get another couple of hunters, not so much to drive the deer, but to just hunt the woodland slowly towards the people who were sat in positions. And that way, you would either the people who were sort of walking, stalking would have the opportunity to shoot an animal they'd seen, or if they did push them, which was quite likely because the foliage was so dense, at least that they would push on towards the people who were sitting waiting. So that's what we ended up doing the first day. We went into location, everybody had the Hytera radios, and either earpieces or radios sitting in their rucksack, so everyone had fantastic communication while we were there, which was really important for that kind of thing because safety is always paramount. You want to know where each person is. If you hear a shot, what's happened? Is the animal down? Where is the shot being taken? Do they need help? So we were all squared away with regard to that. And as we went out, dropping off people up the slope, everyone knew exactly where they could shoot between. And it was a great morning, but it was also pretty miserable at the same time. There was a lot of rain came in. There was this one period where the rain just came absolutely teeming down. We had to stick most of the camera gear away, so we couldn't really film that much when it was chucking it down because it was just far too wet. And I remember sitting there, when we left in the morning, it looked damp, but we knew we were going to be doing a lot of walking, and I didn't want to carry with me it's a heavier rain jacket. So I opted just to have my t-shirt and a light jumper on, which I don't know if it was a bad decision, but I got incredibly wet. And I sat there at the one point and I just decided, well, I can only get as wet as my skin. So I sat there in my t-shirt, pretty cold, for about an hour and a half before the rain stopped. And then I swapped out my wet t-shirt for another one. And I was there with Lisa, actually, filming her, and she was getting pretty wet too.
Hopefully we get there today. That would be awesome.
Once we'd taken the boat and we'd been dropped off in our locations, I had drawn the short straw with Maya and Thomas, and we were at the very, very top. And we walked up and we got in position, and the rain started, and it rained solid for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And it was a torrential tropical downpour. And like Bayer and Maya had made the decision not to take a jacket with her, and she got very wet, I think very cold very quickly, and me and Thomas were quite warm in our jackets. The rain stopped, and it's amazing when the rain stops, just everything becomes quiet and your senses get heightened again, and that's when we actually heard the first shots, when the rain had all stopped and everything had quietened down. And that's when we made our way back down the mountain, because they had asked for us for help, because they were a long way up, and that terrain really is unforgiving. If you could easily injure yourself, and if you can have help, I would take help.
So guys, how was that?
Oh man,
It was good.
you know, it was really good. We jumped an animal, but it was so thick up there that couldn't even see anything. So we waited a little bit, we found some clearings, we stalked around a little bit. We thought we might find some animals trying to dry off after the rain. Thought maybe they'd get into some of the clearings to eat a little bit. Again, we did jump one. We don't know where he went. So at that point we just thought it was safe to come down, so here we are.
How wet did you get?
You know, actually it didn't get wet at all.
We got our King's camo.
Yeah, we put our King's camo rain gear on, and I stayed dry the whole time up on the hill. And even my Vorn backpack kept everything clean inside and nice and dry. Even my cell phone was dry, so.
What about the terrain? Talk to me about the terrain and how it compares to home.
Well, you know, we'd almost die when we were walking around at home.
Yeah.
There was a moment when we were following the trail, and we ended up just on the side of a rock face, just sliding, holding on to whatever we can grab.
Steve sled down about 6 feet down a rock,
Yeah.
and kept his balance very well. It's beautiful here, but it is very dangerous, you know? But that's part of hunting, and that's the excitement of the whole challenge, so.
So day one
Day
was
one.
good.
Day one is in the books.
Excited to
Actually,
get
we
back
wanted
there.
to go back, maybe get some food, regroup, and maybe head out for a little evening hunt and see if we could do some stalking up behind the cabin. So that's our game plan. It's good to see the rest of the pro staff here. So we're gonna link back up with them and hop on the boat and get back to camp. So.
Cool guys. Cheers.
All right.
So she shot the deer just close to the water.
No way.
Yeah.
Anything with antlers?
What?
Anything with antlers?
No, I don't know what it was. I guess it was a calf or a female. But you know, the red deer, they go back again. So she shot late in the drive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. One shot straight down. she said.
Nice. Good for her.
Who was the other shot?
The other shooter was Arne. So there are a couple, one red deer each, and she has birthday today.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. It's her birthday.
That's a good story.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Lucky that she shot.
Yeah.
With Arno when he shot it.
I was right below Arne when he shot it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And where did it? How far up the hill were you?
About 200 meters, I think.
Well, how was the carry out?
This was a bit hard. We have to change carrying it, so. But we tied both legs together and pulled it on the shoulder, so it was nice.
How was the walking? Because you were doing the walking, we were sitting. I was walking in all that rain.
It was quite tough. In the middle there, I had to go about 50 meters down and 100 meters up again, and 50 meters down and up again. So.
Did you cross this gorge?
No, we crossed it here and go straight up there. But it's a big opening. So with the smooth mountains, so I couldn't cross over. So I had to go down and under and then up again.
It was pretty slippy.
Yeah, very slippy.
Cool.
The guys who was walking by and just relaxed until they thought everything was safe, and then tried to sneak out the back way, but they made a mess of their lives. At least she did. So
Good shooting.
yeah, good shooting. She was dead before she hit the ground.
Yeah.
Very good.
Did you manage to get pictures of it?
I got pictures when she was rolling down there.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
because it went so quickly I didn't even manage to get up my camera. Because I didn't want to move too much before it was shown. So
Congratulations and happy
beware of there was something mysterious going on. So if I had thrown up my camera before she had a rifle up, probably would haven't been the results that we got. It was fun, very fun, and it's a birthday, you know.
I know.
Yeah. So that's the best birthday present you can get. Deer on a birthday, and also the first deer in Norway as well.
Lots of fun. Just got up on the top, walked 20 meters. They were standing below me around 50 meters. Had a go. So there was one big, two, and then I saw the calf and I ran down and sneaked down, and the calf, but just that I shot it moved, so I had to give it to, but better that than run away. Thank you.
Well, today the first day of hunting is over, and it's been an awesome day. Rough terrain, steep hills, but it will be an awesome week. It's the toughest time at hunting that you will remember. And it's my birthday today, and I got to shoot a female there. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this day at hunting.
So today was a good day. I was out pushing in the animals to the post, and when I'm climbing up the mountains, I didn't get very far to the first shot that Arne took, and it was very exciting when Arne shot the small calf. So that was good, and when he was finding a calf and everything was done, we pushed forward to the post. So I got a little bit further, and I have to go go down a bit. So because there was too slippery in the mountains, so I couldn't go straight ahead. So I had to go down 50 meters and past it and up again 100 meters. So when I did that, I got to a spot when I had seen A lot of animals has been there recently, and approximately 15 minutes after that, we heard the next shot. BERIT got her first red stag, so that was kind of cool. And on top of the fall, it was her birthday, so it was very good that she got able to shoot her first red stag on her birthday. So that was very good. So it's all in all, it's been a good day. Afterwards, when I get back, we starting butchering the animal, me and Maya. So she helped me with a big female red stag, and I took the calf by myself. So all in all, a good day.
So I was looking, using my binoculars, and I took a look over just to see if I could see some around there. And before I started to do the walk through towards to the shooters, and I guess I walked around 20-30 meters or something like that, and then I suddenly see a red deer standing like 50 meters below me. So then I was, oh, okay, and I was just trying to figure out what animal it was, like if it was a buck or a hind, or what was it. And then I saw it was a adult hind, so I kind of, okay, is there a calf? And there was a calf, so then the hunt was on.
You know, I was really excited. My wife was very excited for me. She's a huge support for me. So just being able to come over here and to visit Europe and to see Norway, I've always heard how beautiful it was over here. So it was very exciting for me to get the opportunity to come over here, meet some of the other pro staff through Vorn. I'm very appreciative of what Vorn has done for me and my company, and I was very excited. I didn't know really what to expect, so I came into it with open arms, and here I am. So I was just in awe. The landscape is so beautiful, and it amazes me because from where I'm from, I'm used to this being the mountains with fresh water, not ocean. So it's just an incredible, beautiful place. You know, it's very rugged. It's very clean, and I was just awe-inspired about the beauty that this place had to offer. You know, for me, I started hunting at a young age. My father was a logger up in the mountains. My mom's side farms, and you know, for me, it's not about the killing. It's more the adventure and exploring new lands, and which I did today or this week. You know, I didn't get to shoot a red stag. I wasn't lucky enough to get that opportunity, but it did not take away from the trip, and it never should. It's about getting outdoors, exploring new territory, and always taking something positive away from it. And that's what I love. I love to be in touch with nature out here, to have a great adventure with my hunts wherever I go. And that's what it means to me. It's not about just taking animals. And there are people out there that are like that, you know, I guide, and I have clients that they sometimes expect more than what you could give them. And you got to realize that not all the time when we hunt are we successful in taking an animal, but it's all about the adventure, the time you have, the bonding with your friends if you come on a trip with a friend, or I have father's sons, and that's what it's about. And that's what you have to take away from it. It's not about just the killing. It's all about the adventure and exploring new territories, meeting new people, and experiencing different things. That's what it is for me.
We were there for a couple of weeks, and it's hard to kind of pick out a day that stands out amongst the rest because all the days were, you know, pretty awesome. But one of the days we decided that we were gonna branch out by ourselves, myself and my brother and Lisa, who we'd only met for the first time maybe a matter of days before, but we already realized, yeah, she She was a tough girl who wanted to hunt, and she volunteered to come with us because we were initially just going to go by ourselves, but we wanted to go and capture some really great footage for the film we were making for the film festivals, for the short film, and also hunt at the same time and adventure into a part of the hunting area that we hadn't been before. So to do that, we headed out up above the camp, up the side of one of the basically where one of the gullies where a stream ran down. It's actually the stream that we used to source our water while we were there. And I'd seen from when we'd come in a couple of days before that out on top there were some big open areas in amongst the forest. So we wanted to get up and get high so that we could look out across one valley into the face of another valley into these open areas and hopefully be able to see some deer. When we had taken the boat in a couple of days before, we had seen deer out on the tops in these open areas. So we wanted to actually be able to see them from the top of the mountains. And the scenery up there just looked utterly spectacular. And we knew that the only way to capture it properly was to actually do the hard graft and get up the mountain with the camera gear, with the rifles, and just experience it. So that's what we did that day. We went up the gully, slowly picking our way. There was probably one or two moments which were a little bit hairy, and we decided after a while, we could hear some rocks falling down there. We knew that there's a risk to going up through those clear areas where there's a lot of rock fall. But from inside the forest, it's almost impossible to see outside the forest into the open areas. So we kind of took a little bit of a risk there, but we weren't disappointed as we made our way up, because the footage that we captured with the mist lifting behind us, and eventually as we came down, the sun setting over the distant mountain range with rocks and trees and water up so high and the sea below us, it was a magical place. Waterfalls, most spectacular waterfall on the way up as well. In the end we didn't see any game, but it didn't really matter. We'd been up there and we had adventured and explored, and it was worth every minute that we were up there, even though we didn't achieve one of our goals, which was to locate some game. But we had still learned something. We had learned that it wasn't a particularly good way to go up, that it was probably a little bit dangerous because of the way that the rocks were, and eventually when we got to the top we got to a point where we couldn't really go any further, and we weren't all that comfortable with how stable the ground was. So when we came back down later on that evening, we backed out of there and came back down through the forest. In the end, when it came time for us to head home and leave Norway behind, we hadn't shot anything. In fact, my brother and I, we hadn't even shouldered a rifle to shoot something. We'd seen other people succeed. We'd eaten the spoils of other people's hunts. We had met so many people over so many days and heard so many stories and shared so many experiences that none of it really mattered. Yes, we were there to hunt, and by hunt, we were there to kill, but the killing was kind of irrelevant. It would have been part of the process had we been successful. The fact that we weren't personally successful didn't matter. We were successful on so many other levels. We'd wanted to tell a story with the film that we were making, with the short film, and we felt that it was going to be quite hard to portray the story of life and death and how death allows life to continue without actually showing that. So when we came back from Norway, we decided that although originally that was the end of our story, that it hadn't quite finished, that we needed a little bit more. And that led us back to our homeland in the Highlands of Scotland, where we both spend a lot of time fishing, a lot of time hunting, a lot of time with friends, a lot of time climbing mountains, and back to the hunt, back to the pursuit of the same animal, the red deer, a red stag, that we were pursuing in Norway, but back at home.
Have you ever asked yourself if there was more to your story? Something simply missing? Everyone's search for meaning will forge a different road. The question is, can you take the first step?
The temperature has dropped about 10 degrees in 45 minutes. We weren't anticipating this at all. And we did that above what is probably one of the most famous lochs in Scotland, Loch Ness, and where we both used to live as youngsters. It was a beautiful full circle where we had travelled more than 4,000 miles to join hunters in pursuit of what is an incredibly magnificent animal, the great red stag, no more famous than in Scotland, where it's an icon of Scotland, the red stag. But we had come home to do exactly the same thing and carry on that journey, but no longer with the people we had shared the experiences with in Norway.
We simply needed to embrace the consequences of our existence, actions which transcended the very spirit of humanity.